vault is, so Leo orders Harp to save the hostages while he goes after the codes. Then Leo begins making his way deeper inside, where he fights Victor's men using both his guns and his fists and destroying the bank in the process. Suddenly a Russian Gump shows up and Leo can't do enough damage to it with his gun, so Harp gives him a grenade that Leo throws at the Gump to finally defeat it. Afterward Harp calls Eckhart to ask for backup while taking the hostages outside, and Leo keeps running through the corridors, where he finds another Gump that he quickly defeats with a second grenade. Outside, Harp sends all the hostages away and watches the American trucks arrive, only to discover Eckhart sent Gumps but no actual soldiers. At that moment, he hears some screaming and sees the Russians come out with even more hostages and a bunch of Gumps of their own. Harp tries to negotiate peacefully, however a Gump notices the hostage is being threatened and kills the guy, causing a gunfight between both teams of robots to start. A few hostages try to run away and end up getting killed by the fire, but Harp sneaks around and guides the survivors into a cafe so they can escape through the back door. Then Harp calls Eckhart to ask why he didn't send the Marines and learns that there's a drone approaching the area, so he needs to leave quickly. Harp protests against the plan because there are still civilians nearby and Leo inside, but Eckhart says the same thing Harp thought back then, they're just collateral. Meanwhile inside the bank, Leo gets rid of another robot before jumping through a glass door to attack the Russians. He defeats most of them, but the guy with the codes runs upstairs and manages to shoot Leo in the chest. Thankfully it's not enough to stop Leo's android body and he chases after the guy until they reach the roof, where he opens fire. The man is knocked down after a few shots and Leo pushes him off the roof before patching up his wound and retrieving the codes. Back to Harp, he decides to stay a little longer to help the last civilian, shooting a Russian in the face to rescue her. Then they run inside the cafe right before the drone fires the missile and destroys the area. Seconds later, Harp comes out of the building feeling dizzy but at least alive, only to see all the burnt bodies on the streets. Luckily Leo hid before the explosion too and rescues Harp to take him away in a car to continue their journey. When Harp begins feeling better, he has to deal with the guilt of having piloted those drones because now he finally understands he's a murderer. Then he